both sides, but before, because 72 to 80% of our vehicles are built in the U.S. already, it has been a good thing. So profits are up, sales are actually up, and people are now trying to buy more.
Where are the parts for your vehicles manufactured?
We have 4 plants. I was just Mexico. We have 4 plants in the U.S. No, we have 4 plants in the U.S. and we have 3 in
for like the Expedition F-250s, F-350s.
Yep.
And that's just Ford. That's not counting Chevy. I'm in the automotive industry too. I fly cargo for all 3 Stellantis, GM, and Ford, as well as Toyota, all that. But yeah, that's just speaking of Ford. But we're all over Mexico getting parts for the big 3. So, and the majority, about good 70 to 75% of the parts we're pulling from Mexico every single day. We're flying them into the States.
Oh, I know.
And from Canada, and then a little bit of it's coming from Canada. We pull a little bit from Canada.
So we're getting record profits. It's awesome for the country, man.
So I do want to, kind of go back to the room. So my question is, I've seen all of the hate people are getting, and there's some shitlibs trying to make a name for themselves, saying what a horrible, bigoted, homophobic, whatever bullshit Charlie Kirk was. And I would like if these people can actually pull the clips or say anything that he said factually wrong. Because I think you guys are, I think the people that are slandering Charlie Kirk, there are people like me that, you can say, well, he says horrible things. Yeah, fair enough. But Charlie Kirk is not like a bad guy. And I personally am insulted, seeing people slander him and say bad stuff about him. When he was a good person. In fact, it also just makes the left look really bad, because here you guys are attacking like an actual moderate, and he's definitely a Christian. That's like, I think ideologically his main driver. He's a Christian man. He's a good man. And you guys want to, say he's all of these bad things and maybe even laugh and make fun of the fact that he got shot in the neck. I personally would think it'd be funny if the people that were laughing at him getting shot in the neck, if, it was captured on home video, a bunch of, I don't know, think of some of the biggest fat guys that also had really big fat dicks came in and raped you and killed you. I mean, I would probably laugh at that just because you deserve it. But Charlie wouldn't do that. He would think it's horrible. So I just don't get why people are being so mean to Charlie. He's a nice guy.
They're expecting too much from the cucktards.
I feel like a lot of people who are saying these horrible things haven't even listened to much of anything of what he said, because it's so opposite of what people are saying. And I've seen actual direct misquotes, intentionally misquoting what he said, not just out of context, but actually words that he didn't use.
You bring up a good point. I find it hard to believe that somebody could be 100% wrong. So it plays into what you're saying, is that the idea is to pick out and to make things out of context so they can get their narrative going. But at the end of the day, there's always something that you can find that you should be able to mention that was actually good. But you won't find that at all with this group.
Right. It's like there are some people, like Pepe was saying, who do say horrible things. This was not the guy. And for people to be laughing, I'm like, they haven't listened to him. They're just joining in what they see other people doing and thinking it's a moment to sort of try to mock the rights and the conservatives, but I don't believe it.
And by the way, I'll go out on a limb and say each one of us at some point have done something very similar to what Charlie Kirk has said on this Clubhouse app. So it's really a low Clubhouse conversation at the end of the day that Charlie was having with these students. You know what I mean? So literally every day we open up a room, we were having a Charlie conversation, and I guess we should be condemned for very similar kind of things. You know what I mean? There isn't anybody innocent on this app. To think that you're not obviously responsible for a little bit of your shit talking is completely bullshit. Literally everybody on this app has done shit talking and has been an awful person. So does that mean that we get to find you and laugh at you after we shoot you?
Right.
I mean, it really comes down to that to me at this point.
Yeah, could you imagine anybody hear this happening and people laughing like that? It happened to anybody. You're right, and it's not. There's worse things that have been said in this room than anything Charlie Kirk has said.
And that's the thing. It's like if this was like Nick Fuentes who got shot, I still would absolutely condemn it. But I can kind of see why he's a little polarizing, and I even don't think he's a good person. But he's just a homosexual that has a lot of influence with, I don't know, these weird young people. But and really, it's an open secret. He's a homosexual. I'm not just saying that as an insult.
Well, are you projecting? You're from Discord, where the trans shooter who killed Charlie Kirk was also radicalized. Were you radicalized in Discord, Pascal?
Yeah. I was radicalized before Discord, bro.
I was gonna say, Pepe, and you know what's fucked up about these people condemning Charlie Kirk so bad? I was thinking about bringing my uncle onto this app because my uncle lives in the hood, like hood, like straight hood, like bullet holes in the houses, every fucking where, man. And even they talk the same way. They even talk worse. You talk to my uncle, I can't stand these fucking niggas. Trash everywhere, killing each other, shooting. Just a bunch of debauchery. I can't wait to get away from these niggas. Like, this is how good black people are talking that actually live in these environments. So they're even talking worse about the community than Charlie Kirk ever would. Go down to these hoods and talk to these people that are trapped. That are trapped and in prison in these fucking hoods, and they want a way out because they're tired of this YN culture running around here destroying everything. They're even saying the same fucking thing. The same thing happened in the fucking 90s. If you guys go back and do your research, when Clinton was running for office, this is why the 94 crime bill came into effect, because the Republicans were running very, very hard on the tough crime stance. Why? Because it was black people that were begging for a change, because they were tired of seeing the violence, tired of the children getting gunned down. It was black people begging and championing for more police activity in their neighborhoods to clean up the fucking streets. Yeah. So what happened was the Democrats were running soft on crime, and they were losing votes from black people. Black people were starting to move over to the Republican side because they were the only ones talking about cleaning up this violence in the street and the drugs in the streets of these inner cities. So the Democratic Party, like they always do, shit, we're losing votes, so we got to hop on the next, the new hottest trend to get these votes back, and that's when they started petitioning the 94 crime bill and all that shit. That's how that shit came into effect. So black people, again, decades ago, championed for more conservative politics in order to clean up their streets because they were tired of the bullshit.
I think you're exactly right, and one of the main reasons why the first George Bush lost is because he racialized crime in his ads. Not him in his words, but in his ads when they used that pillar in the ads against Dukakis. He ended up winning, but it stuck with him. And then we have Clinton come aboard. And you're right, Maxine Waters and a lot of them were for that 94 crime bill that comes to pass, and it was addressing a lot of the crime that was in California, where I was from, in Southern California, in Los Angeles. I couldn't wear a Raiders hat as a kid, but now what we have today, like you said, there are a lot of African Americans that sound just like Charlie Kirk. If you put them behind a curtain, you wouldn't know that it's not Charlie Kirk. There are a lot of very religious folks in the hood that say that you believe the same thing of, like, we got to get back to a man and a woman, and a woman being subjugated, even though I don't agree with that, subjugated to the man and how they proceed in the household. So you're exactly right. We do hear this. What I will say to answer the question that Pepe is asking, again, it is how you address it. And one of the things about the way Charlie addressed things, especially when he cut it up for, to make it to real for publicity so that it would trend on social media, is he made it argue. It's a conversation from a place of the heart as opposed to winning an argument. That's where the difference is.
I don't agree. I agree with you on that part, Trent, because I think we all have an inner troll in us, so to speak, right, Trent? So I think that, at times, of course, Charlie went down that road and did his inner troll. I mean, it'd be no different. He could be on the stage right now, and he would do his troll piece, a little bit probably. But he always had a message at the end of the day, and I think obviously that, to your point, it might have been overshadowed by that trolling that I mentioned. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hello. Hello.
Yes, hello.
Okay, so yeah, I disagree. I think he kind of dished it how people gave it to him. I would see videos and there were a lot of assholes that came up and they were belittling first. And so I thought he was actually kind of nice in his responses most of the time. They made themselves look stupid. And he spliced it that way.
So would you say that it's like really no different than a clubhouse conversation, right? When you say where like you'll get somebody that comes up on stage that we've seen all day today, and like you'll have to call them dumb, the usual stuff. I mean, he just did it at a greater scale. You know what I mean? He had a lot more people that were listening. She laughed anyways, but that's kind of where I've been going with my angle. I don't know if I'm off in some weird land, but to me, at the end of the day, it was just a clubhouse conversation with a little bit extra ears and eyes, so to speak,
Matt, you're exactly right. And I'm going to mention him because he just came in here, the PhD. Y'all know PhD, right? Me and PhD are not from the same worlds, right? We look the same, but we're not from the same worlds. PhD, as many of you know, you've been very public about it. I had some private conversations, and I'm not the only one. I'm not going to sit here and only be like, I'm the only one. I was the one who spoke to him. No, I'm not trying to do that. But the way I hit the man, I said, hey, man, if this is where you want to go, this is what you got to do. You're going to have to hit that knife at this point. At 45, it's unlikely that you're going to do it any other way. And, he was worried about doing it. But I didn't belittle him. I didn't say, oh, well, you're fat, you ain't never going to. You ain't never going to, do that. I said, I told the man, if you got the wherewithal to be a black male and get a PhD, you can lose the weight and find, what you're looking for out of life. And there's different ways. Y'all know, right? It's really easy to have punch down, Matt and Pepe. It's really easy to have punch down conversations, and I try not to have them. Right? We can always, when somebody's hurting, they may be gay, they may be trans, they may be a little different in some way. It's very easy for us to get people, especially in a setting where we're comfortable, and punch down and say it's your fault. The crime is your fault. The fatherless homes are your fault. It's harder to have compassion for them folks and walk with them.
Yeah, but it is their fault. They're the ones choosing to lay down, have unprotected sex, have kids out of wedlock. Like what you're saying, Trent, is with all due respect, but you're going back to grown-ass adults. We have to infantilize them, and this is the problem. We've infantilized these grown-ass adults so much. Now we got to fucking baby talk them and give them a spoonful of Gerber fucking mush baby food in order for them. No, bro, that's not how the world works. Like, this is a problem. These people gotta understand the world don't revolve around you. The world is a cruel place. The world is a cold place. Nobody has time to sit up here and prep and put icing and a cherry on top just to tell you, hey, you're fucked up. This is the problem.
Sig just sit on my Sig said, man, forget them. I can't say it. I want to say it.
I mean, but look at our military, man. Look at the strategy our military uses, though. I mean, you think about it. Some of your most responsible citizens come out of the military. Some of the most productive, affluent, well-spoken, articulate black folks I've met in my life have come from the military. And what is the strategy? The world don't revolve. Suck it the fuck up, Buttercup. You fucking maggot. Get on your goddamn face and start pushing the fucking earth. Oh, you fuck this up? Yeah, you're gonna have to go run fucking 8 miles. You're gonna have to go fucking hike 7 fucking miles with a 150-pound pack on you. Like, this And we have some of our finest citizens coming from this organization. So we got proof that it works. We got proof that it works.
I wouldn't use the military as the way that you need to speak to the average person. I know what you're saying, right? That's the way to get through some people. Good job, but I'm not going to disagree with you no more. There's a lot more to go. If we're talking about African Americans, we do have to accept facts. That Siggy, the same thing that bothers you bothers me, bothers the hell out of me, because I'm a statistics guy. Like when we can't even just say that the crime in Memphis and Detroit and Houston and Dallas and New Orleans, we know who it is. And that's the crazy thing. Like we know who it is, and we're afraid to admit that this problem is ours, right? No, we're not the mass shooters of the churches and the grocery stores, which get a lot of publicity, but are relatively rare. The mass shootings every day, to Charlie Kirk's point, the mass shootings that happen every day around America, which is 4 or more people shot, happen in clubs and around the corner from the liquor store and at the barbecue or whatever. And there are people that look like me. And it's usually 18 to 24-year-old black males. That's where the problem is. We know where the problem is. And so if we can accept it and recognize that this is the problem and this is where we need to hone our focus, we'd be a lot better off instead of, like Al was doing, trying to pretend like stats from Idaho are the problem.
Pepe, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, give me the beans so I can get this fucker popping. We're getting beat by that fucking cocksucker.
This room is in a competition.
What the heck? Take it.
Good evening, Pepe. Everybody.
Well, at least just start inviting everybody on stage. I mean, that's how you get the room.
You don't hear me talking?
Oh, no, I do hear you talking. You're too melanated for me to care.
All right, so anyways. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at liberals, and I don't know why they're you're saying, I think some of the things, like even Krasensteins, they like follow me. I followed them back. I think they follow like most people. But they have like 1 million+ people, I think, on their accounts. But it's like, them saying, I found a lot of the things that he said deeply hurtful. They didn't make fun of his death or anything. They're not that tasteless. But yeah, I still don't. I mean, I don't even know what he said that is deeply hateful. I mean, there's nothing that came out of Charlie Kirk's mouth that would anybody who's even remotely conservative and especially if they're like actually a religious Christian, he didn't say anything that was like out of line. I mean, to me, people are just reaching.
Are you serious? Or are you joking?
Yeah, Hurricane. Maybe Hurricane will do so. Because I'd love. Can you think of anything that Charlie Kirk said that was wrong?
Where do I begin? What'd you say, Trent?
Black women, what he said about black women not having brain capacity. When he said that about.
He didn't say black women. That was misquoted.
Do you think that's the worst thing he said, Trent?
No, it's not the worst. It's just the one that hits me. But go ahead, baby. It's good to see you.
Well, why does that one hit you? You're not even married to a black woman. What are you talking about?
What?
Hurricane, but can you answer Hurricane? Can you not deflect and answer Pepe's question? What did Charlie Kirk say?
I don't know who you are. Okay, I'm here because of Pascal. So,
Hurricane, you were asked a question.
I know.
Can you point out anything that Charlie Kirk that has said that was false?
Sig, I just got here. I'm trying to warm up my seat.
It's fine. Hurricane and I don't agree on a lot of things. We get along, but we get along for the most part.
Like, what's your problem?
Because you were asked a question and you deflected.
I always answer Pepe's question. I didn't deflect.
Just invite everyone.
No, I think Trent ended up bringing up something.
Like, I'm talking
so that's
to
how
Trent,
it happened.
bitch. What's your problem?
All right, so then let's start over. What has Charlie Kirk said?
Sig, I'm not here to talk to you because I don't like you. I don't like your tone. I don't like your energy.
There you go. That's not good. I don't like your tone. I don't like your tone.
I'm going to talk to Pepe.
Hurricane, can you please tell us, pretty please with the cherry on top? Anything that Charlie Kirk
Shut the
said
fuck
that
up,
was
bitch,
wrong?
and
Is that
stick
no better
the
for you?
cherry up your
Is that no
ass.
better for you?
How about that?
All right, you guys. Let's not attack each other. Like, please don't attack each other.
Yeah, like I came up and Trent asked me a question. Trent and I, we have a simpatico too. Trent and I were going back and forth, and you won't even let these two black men have their little thing before I start.
Well, I'm just curious. So, aren't you? You have like Nigerian origin. Am I correct? Like,
I'm black. Don't talk. Yeah, I'm a black man.
No. The reason I'm asking is I do. It's my experience, at least with Nigerians I've spoken to, that they do seem a bit more religious on it in comparison to Americans. Like, I could be wrong.
That is true.
Oh, well, sorry. What's your claim about Nigerians again?
Oh, the ones at least that come here to the United States, they seem to be a little bit more religious than Americans.
Super.
You mean more religious than white Americans?
Yes.
Very much so.
White Americans. Well, yeah, but that's because white people don't know Jesus.
Amazing.
Neither do you.
Yeah, you guys are infidels, like, you know.
But I mean, do you think that like for example, the Christian Nigerian diaspora would find anything like wrong with maybe his views on, let's say, LGBT stuff? Is it like I think Charlie Kirk, he was a religious person, like that was his main ideological bend. And I can understand how some people might think it's offensive when he says only, I don't know. I don't even know if this was his stance, but maybe he thought like committing a homosexual act is a sin. I mean, that's just kind of standard for.
Okay, so let me tell you a few things. So, are you familiar with Central Park 5?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you familiar with Yusuf Salam?
No, I'd have to look him up.
So he's a member of the Central Park 5. He is now a New York City councilman, and Charlie Kirk accused Yusuf Salam of rape repeatedly. He called him a disgusting pig who had gotten away with gang rape. The disgusting pig is a direct quote. Those are words that Charlie Kirk used, and he also said that Yusuf Salam got away with, open quote, gang rape, close quote. So he said that about Yusuf Salam, one of the Central Park 5. As we know, they were all exonerated. So that's one thing he said that I thought was distasteful and beyond the pale. He also said that prowling blacks go around for fun to go target white people. I'm looking up here for more quotes.
I know that about Mr. Salam.
He also said, no, well, he was not found guilty of. He was exonerated. So.
Yeah, I just didn't know
him of rape.
You're giving me something. I didn't know that one.
Charlie Kirk also said that Jewish donors were the #1 funding mechanism of radical open border neoliberal quasi-Marxist policies, cultural institutions, and nonprofits. He also said that the philosophical foundation of anti-whiteness has been largely financed by Jewish donors in the country, close quote.
But I did see that clip, but he did, and he's correct, and I don't think most Jews would even disagree. You do have like secular Jews who that are like very left wing, and that you have Jews on both sides that are kind of
the philosophical foundation of anti-whiteness has been largely financed.
Hurricane, are you gonna let that
country
talk?
Like, who's talking to me? Because if it's Sig, I'm not talking.
Go ahead.
No, it's not Sig.
You're a fool. I'm not talking to you.
Well, I would say that there is, if I can go back into it. I would say. The Jewish leftists always kind of if you look at a lot of the anti-whiteness shit that would even going back to the 60s that you would get more in academia, he's not incorrect. Like a lot of
Hold on.
Well, if that's the case, then let's just go ahead and say that let's just go ahead and say that you are happy to be an anti-Semite.
Yeah.
Because that's what that statement
No, I don't think that's anti-Semitic because
it is.
Absolutely not. Because
it is.
No. Because I'm picking out Jews. Yeah. One second. Right after this, I would clarify that. First of all, he's saying what kind of Jews. He's not saying Jews in general.
He said Jews with money, Jewish donors. Jewish donors.
Well, who else is going to do it besides the ones with money?
Well, yeah. So you say he's specifying a certain type of Jew.
Yeah, he's talking about secular Jews specifically.
No, he didn't talk about secular Jews. He said Jewish donors. He didn't say.
Okay, I'll play the clip.
He didn't say Jewish donors who are secular. That's not what he said.
All right, I'll play the clip.
Please play it. Okay. Perhaps there's a context that I'm missing, but go ahead, play it.
All right, hold on. Let me pull it up.
It might be the AIDS messenger brains hurricane.
All right, guys, don't. All right, so
and Jewish donors, they have a lot of explaining to do, a lot of decoupling to do, because Jewish donors have been the number one funding mechanism of radical, open border, neoliberal, quasi-Marxist policies, cultural institutions, and nonprofits. This is a beast created by secular Jews. And now it's coming for Jews, and they're like, what on earth happened? And it's not just the colleges. It's the nonprofits, it's the movies, it's Hollywood, it's all of it. It's like time for you guys to wake up and say no more, draw a line in the sand. I don't care if you...
So, and that's interesting. He said secular Jews, and now it's coming for the Jews. So it sounded like, and this is where I'm 100% correct. And you actually saw, let me put my headphones back in. You actually saw post October 7th, you saw that Jews, a lot of lefty Jews were still funding these, giving endowments to these campuses. They were funding a lot of this far left bullshit. But then you saw something change after October 7th. They were riding that dragon. Hold on.
Are all secular Jews leftists?
Oh, well, hold on.
Are all secular Jews?
They don't let this black man control you.
Yeah, but no, but those are. It's the secular Jews that tend to be left. Yes.
Are they so? Okay, so secular and leftist; those two words mean the same thing when
no. But the religious Jews tend to be more right wing. That's just kind of like religious people in general.
Well, he said secular. He didn't say leftist.
Well, yes. So he just talked about how secular Jews were funding all of these things that in the United States we would consider far left. And he said that basically they went around and started attacking, and now they're coming for the Jews, which is what you did. You had the people that were, I'd say most of the people that were doing the pro-Palestine shit. I would say most of these people were not like anti-Semites. They're not racist, but they were. I would say they looked at Israel kind of through the same lens they might look at the United States or Great Britain as this white settler colonialism,
Marxist, all that.
Pepe, I got the answer for you. It's 77% of secular Jews. Mm-hmm. Bro, I was giving you the statistics.
Okay, what is it? 77%
of secular Jews are on the left.
That's amazing.
Yeah, well, but he didn't say left. Secular Jews.
So the secular Jews that were supporting that stuff.
So I suppose
they did start kind of going after Jews.
It's okay to target secular Jews, right?
No, he's saying he said that they had a lot of explaining to do, and basically was saying like, look, now they're coming. Now these people that you were supporting, like I'm guessing he's referring to Palestine or some shit. Now these people, these leftists, are coming for they're coming for all Jews, And so I think that's perfectly reasonable. That's not anti-Semitic.
I disagree, but that's fine. We don't have to agree.
All right, Pepe. You know how you have house niggers? Now you have a house Jew. You can ask them. Do I think that it's that Charlie Kirk was going against Jews? No, he was stating the facts that people like George Soros and Larry Fink, who are fucking piece of shits, are fucking indoctrinating all these fucking young kids, and that we need to wake up and smell the fucking shit and see that these leftist fucking Jews need to be fucking stopped.
It's so strange, Ken.
I'm his house tyke.
Yeah, Ken. I
do.
Yeah, you sound
really well.
Yeah, you sound like you have bile running through your veins.
I do. A lot of it.
All right, well, let's not do the personal attacks.
Vile or vile? Yeah, it's definitely vile. No, vile with a V.
V as in boy.
Okay, all right, this is boring. All right,
V as in boy. That's what I meant.
Okay, all right.
Faggotry is vile, bro.
Yeah, who wanted to speak?
It's a trend.
Okay, go ahead.
It's your room, baby. Go ahead. No, go ahead, Trent. You got it, bro. I'll go ahead. Okay. Pepe, like, I had heard that comment before, and now hearing it, even in the context, it's a bad comment to make, right? Yes, a lot of, if you want to call them secular Jews, a lot of Jews do vote Democratic. I mean, we obviously know that just from the congressional, with Schumer and Bernie Sanders and congressional leaders. But I think that's a terrible comment to make. And going back to the 60s, the reason I stopped is going back to the 60s, Jews were very, very helpful in the civil rights movement. A lot of those freedom riders were actually Jewish that went that went down to the South to help blacks in the civil rights movement. So my family, especially, we have an affection for Jewish people because they helped us when we was down. And I think there has been over the years a bit, but there always has been a kinship with black folks right after the civil rights because of the Jewish.
Yeah, but blacks and Jews during that time were both conservatives. I mean, so yeah, they were politically.
That's not true. They were not conservative. No, black people were conservative at that time. You don't know.
Oh my God.
You don't know what you're talking about, Ken. The word conservative, as used in application to whites, doesn't even apply to
the Republicans. You fucking piece of shit.
No, I'm not listening.
Right-leaning.
You have majority of Jews.
No, they were Democrats.
Black people were not right-leaning, please. Black people are not conservative the same way whites are conservative in this country. If you
conservative values,
know that. No.
Conservative Judeo-Christian values.
That's what conservative means. You're an idiot.
I mean, I would say blacks are somewhat more socially conservative on average than whites in the United States.
If you guys did any reading, you would understand that the word conservative doesn't even attach properly to black people when you're talking about politics.
Yeah, that's not how I'm like.
Not the way that you guys define conservative and apply it to white people. It's not applied to black people in the same way. It is a useless word. If you're talking about how black people operate politically, it does not mean the same thing for us. But if you understood black people, you would know that.
I agree with her. We do use it when we're talking about African Americans and then use it.
Yeah, Trent, I'm not here to fight with anybody. I'm here to talk to them and this fight with all these individuals like you.
Well, I just disagree with her.
So you want to call me a bitch, which is your right. You want to go off and call you a fucking faggot. You were like the words to you can do.
You have a baby carrot dick hoe. You have a baby carrot dick. Your dick doesn't even.
All right, that's fine. Trent, this is exactly what I was talking about.
She says
it's the women and these niggas with sugar in their fucking tank. This is the fucking problem. So the motherfuckers sit up here and cried and boo-hooed and whined about your tone. And all I did was ask them a question. But you want to come off the mic and call me a fucking bitch and I never disrespected you, you fucking black faggot. That's the fucking problem.
I would hope that you would use correct pronouns and say she.
I mean, I'm going to say this, when it comes to even the Jewish thing, I would say Jews have been, like, extremely fucking responsible for the I guess you see the radical left bullshit you've seen in our country since the 60s. That is when the Jews they started, a good number of them started, they were professors, they were very, as you could say, involved in the radical left-wing movements. Of course, a lot of it was,
let's have
communist.
Let's have this discussion real quick before I go, Pepe, because I want to. And I like everybody. I try not to get personal and insult anybody. So Pepe, when you say radical left, what do you mean? What does that mean to you?
Oh, sure. So that would be like well, you had many different organizations. You had DSA, which I'd say is somewhat radical left. You had like the Weather Underground. You had the Black Liberation, or I forget that they ended up having a Marxist tilt. You had a lot of the activism, whether it was for racial, whether it was women's rights, whether it was, of course, a lot of it was economic. It was influenced by far left, like what we would consider like Marxist ideology, and that I would say the 60s is when you definitely saw it. That was a decade known for like a lot of protesting and movements, some of which were violent on the on behalf of the far left.
I'm talking about today. Let's not talk about yesteryear, like in 2025. And this is for all of you. What do you think it is the left stands for, or the far left stands for? And what do you think the right or the far right stands for? And I'm going to preface it by saying, I talk to both sides. I told you I live on the border, and I've lived in Texas most of my life. I spent a lot of time in Ohio, California, all over the country. When I hear both sides of the coin, they're both talking about the elites. So when I listen to you guys like Sig and Kim, when I listen to your complaints, it's often about rich people on the far left and on the far right. And I'll land. I'd love to hear your points on that.
In a way, yes. In both of them will. So the far right, it will depend. There's many types of people or factions on the far right. You have probably the most extremist example I can think of are like neo-Nazi accelerationists. These are people like Timothy McVeigh. They seek to commit terrorist attacks, anticipating that it will cause social unrest, and the law enforcement or the government will start trying to strip people of guns, and then people of color will attack them, and then they're going to do more terrorist attacks, and it'll bring down the country, and they can have their new utopian Nazi government or some shit. And you have like white nationalists, which can be anywhere from, they're not that extreme to pretty extreme. You have what else? The Christian right. You can get some of them that go overboard on the Christian right, but then on the left, I would say you have people that are rather, like, I would say, Marxist purists. They're not people that have any lefty social views, but they are, they're communists, and they do see this as a average working person, to people that are, and some of these people, they tend not to be that militant, but then you get the ones who are militant. I guess you can start looking at Antifa. I would say in the 60s, like the Weather Underground, which was, notorious for bombing and shooting people. They were obviously radical leftists. And so
I'm saying is, and this is for all of you, most of you want, like tariffs, that's a leftist ideal. That's
not traditionally. Paleoconservatives, that before you had to break with the new right, that new right was all for laissez-faire capitalism. The conservatives like Nixon and before, they love tariffs.
Yeah, okay, but basically building up the working class, right? Building up the working class, which is now what the populist movement is talking about, is basically in some ways a leftist construct. And so what I'm saying is the rise that I'm seeing through MAGA on the right and the anti-corporation and the anti-elite sentiment is the same shit that I've been hearing on the left for years. The parties are blending. They're really saying the same things.
Okay,
People
Trey,
that
I
I've
do
heard
not
that
reveal
over
too much. The parties are not blending. Stop.
Okay, go ahead.
They're not blending.
There's convergence. There's a convergence of interest for sure. I mean, you do under George W. Okay, you would not see the right criticizing corporations and corporate interests the way that you have been for the last several years. But I would say this: is that, hold on. Well, hold on. Hold on.
He didn't talk about interest convergence. He said the parties are blending, meaning the parties are beginning to look more like each other. That's not true.
Okay, well, on some levels, but I would say this: like a paleo-conservatives, the right that existed before. I would say when you had the Barry Goldwater Republicans, and of course, what the fuck is his name? Reagan was kind of one of them. They were a lot different. If you look at like Nixon and before, these are people that were very protectionist. They didn't care about let's just look at the GDP. But their focus was on the American dream, the everyday American worker. These are people to be taken care of. We want to make sure that everybody has a shot at the American dream. So when it came to workers and their wages for the everyday American, yeah, that was front and center. That was put on a back burner with the new right. They were all about, in my opinion, more corporate greed.
Okay, can I ask a question here? So I want to know your opinion about this, but I feel as though one distinguishing factor between the right and the left is identity politics. I think that if the right were to play with identity politics, what's the laughing? I'm being honest.
Well, the right does play with identity politics. It does.
It would not be accepted as it is on the left.
Well, the right does engage in identity politics. You guys just decide to
It's not accepted. It's not accepted.
It is accepted. On the right, yes, it is.
Only in
it's not mainstream.
The right engages in identity politics.
It's not main.
Do you know what identity politics actually is?
So you just say I'm proud to be white on the right. Shit. Yeah, that's it.
It's something you can do on the internet, and it's something that you see online, but you won't see in like any large platform. You can't really.
No, that's what I'm saying. You can't say that on mainstream television networks.
What about what the right does?
What do we do? What do we do when it comes to identity politics? Like, what do we do?
What has the administration done?
I don't know. What have they done?
Since taking over in January,
what have they done?
You know what it is.
I don't. Which identities have been attacking?
Answer the question, Hurricane.
Chase, I don't know who you are, so I don't talk to idiots who talk to me as if I'm their slaves.
I'm an idiot.
Exactly, so shut the fuck up, because I'm not an enslaved person. It's not 1866.
Right, can you just answer the question so I can listen to this?
Hold on, guys.
Shut the fuck up.
Alright, guys, don't. Yeah, don't. That's not the personal attacks.
He's talking to me.
Seems like you want to be enslaved. No one said that you were enslaved.
Bitch, you could never.
I know, guys, stop. Alright, guys, stop. I don't want to hear that. The bickering is so obnoxious. So, yeah, I mean, as far as him kicking out illegals, yeah, you could say that's racist or some shit, which I don't think it is. Transgenders, I think he stopped.
I'll answer your question, because he said, Lasara is saying that the right does not engage in identity politics. And I am saying that the administration, since taking over in late January 2025, has engaged in identity politics. It has done so by, among other things, claiming that DE was under the funding.
I was just asking you how they engaged. Can you give us some
Was I done talking, Zink? Was I done?
Can you say it to me nicer, please? Just asking you a question.
Can you
just give us an example of how
You are rude by interrupting me. The fact that you cannot concentrate for more than 5 seconds is your problem, not mine.
Can you pretty please just give us some examples of how they use identity politics, please?
Shut up.
All right, guys, let's
shut up. I was talking and you interrupted me. That's what you did.
So, Hurricane, I do recall you were about to say like.
Yeah, I was about to say something, but the dumb bitch named Sid.
All right, come on! Don't do that.
Why not tell Sig to stop?
Because
people who are answering.
okay, I did. I tried telling both of you to stop, but then like
No, I haven't
calling him
heard
a
you tell
bitch, and then
Sig
he's
to
gonna
be
respond.
quiet.
Holy shit!
When the administration said that it was going to do everything that it could to get rid of DEI, because DEI in the workplace is taking opportunities from white people and giving them to less deserving, less qualified non-white people. It was engaging in identity politics. That's just one example. It's called identity politics. Now we can disagree on whether it's good identity politics or not. We can disagree. That's a different conversation. But insisting that is what identity politics is wrong, because what it is doing is singling out a particular identity, coming up with an agenda that is going to advance that particular identity. That is what identity politics is. Coming up with ideas, with initiatives, with policy measures that are going to work for the benefit of a particular identity. That is what identity politics is.
Oh, I get what you're saying.
It is simply incorrect to argue that the left is only something.
I'm not making that point.
Do it.
I'm saying that the identity politics on the right is not accepted like it is on the left.
Oh, but it definitely is accepted because all of you are happy. All of you are happy with what the administration is doing. You're happy about it. You celebrate.
I think Lasara's point's different. Lasara's
not really making a point, actually.
No, I'm making a point. My point is that identity politics exists on both sides, except one is accepted and the other one isn't.
That's false.
That's not true.
That's false.
I think the point is, like, if you think about how Democrats apply identity politics, they literally go out of their way to make sure that they always mention minorities as, you know, the most oppressed. And if you're black and a woman, you being downtrodden is due to your race, basically. So it's far more likely that you're going to hear a person at the DNC proclaim that we need to end the oppression of black people and women than a person at the RNC saying that white people need to rise up, basically. Like, you're not going to hear those things.
So don't, but here's the lie that you tell. And it's a lie that you tell by you say today that white people, particularly white men, are the most oppressed people in America. White people on the site saying that is identity politics. And my only point is that people on both sides engage in it. What folks on your side do, is pretend that you guys do not engage in identity politics, and then you turn around and make identity politics a boogeyman and accuse the folks on the left of doing it all by themselves. That is a lie.
Hold on a second. So I actually want to push back. We spent like a decade at least of, you know, white people bad, especially white men, toxic masculinity. Oh, look at how horrible that your guys' history is. White supremacy is like the biggest thing. In fact, it's everywhere. You can't stop it. You're just basically demonizing the fuck out of white people. And then, of course, there's all this DEI shit gets instituted. But then all of a sudden, it's like, well, yeah, now they're kind of stripping it away. I don't consider that identity politics. I see them like literally stripping identity politics from institutions in terms of like hiring and universities. They're not implementing pro-white, discrimination. So that I think that if anything, all they're doing is stripping the identity politics from everyday America as opposed to adding it.
Yeah. So Pepe, the problem with this conversation. Yeah, but Pepe and I were having a back and forth to the top. I'm not down. We can speak once I'm down. So the problem with this, Pepe, is that you've decided to distort reality for your ends, and that is fine. I will listen and maybe I will tell you in the future. What I'm not going to do is have a bunch of liars play my face and then pretend that they're engaged
Can I respond to Hurricane? Basically, he didn't respond to my point. So when I said that, when I was trying to at least clarify what I thought Sarah was saying, and I agreed with it, that the right and the left do not apply identity politics the same way. That was the truth. Like, I specifically was trying to reference the level to which they're mainstream and promoted by the leaders on either side. And it's factual. You can say there's people on the right that say that white men are the most oppressed ever, or at least today. But you're not going to hear those same people being propelled to the same level as someone like Ketanji Brown, what the fuck her name is, or Ilhan Omar is. Like, you're not going to hear them give those same talking points in the same fashion at the same level. You're just not. And you could say, well, oh, they're hiding it. Okay, well, they're hiding it for a reason, because they can't say it in the open according to your own logic. So that's my point.
That's the point that I was trying to make.
Can I add in too real quick? I'll just put a link in the chat. And typically, whatever Otis is referring to is the right utilizing identity politics. What you're talking about is actual response. I put a link in the chat to a clip of Don Lemon broadcasting to the entire world, quote, saying, white men are the biggest terror threat in this country. So it's typically a response to the left that is the one that starts it first.
Can you repeat that again? What did Don Lemon say about white men terror?
The link is in the chat, so you
I'm not
look at it. So
he said we're the biggest threat. He said white men on the right are the biggest threat to the United States.
Oh, that's right. So typically,
Did you say that recently or
typically, hold on, okay.
4 or 5 years ago.
So typically, what's going on is the left makes these types of claims, and then the right responds to it. So it's not fair to say that the right uses identity politics when it's literally a response to the bullshit that the left is pointing out.
He said
that's not.
Don Lemon said that after the Buffalo shooting. I believe it was either the Buffalo or the El Paso Walmart shooting that killed 29 Hispanics down here. But like, look, I don't necessarily agree with that. But my point was, at the end of the spectrum, y'all are talking about the same thing. The only real dividing point when I'm looking at your politics is like abortion. It's really like the last.
Are you talking about between the far right and the far left, or the right and left?
Yeah, just between the parties, right? There's not really and I'm being serious about this. There's not really significant differences between the parties. We feel like there is, but I look at the issues. I mean, when I look at Trump's platform, it looks like the 1992 Bill Clinton platform, and that's basically what it is. Trump's like a 90s Democrat, right? And so that's why I don't disagree with a lot of policies at all.
How is Trump a 90s Democrat? What are you talking about?
Look, again, some shit's gonna be over your head. You just gotta keep it up.
No, it's not over my head, please. I know what was happening in the 1990s.
Yeah, well, if you look at the 92 platform, it looks a lot like Trump's current platform.
That's not true.
Not in every way.
That's untrue.
But the point.
It's untrue.
Okay. Anyway.
Untrue.
Thanks, Hurricane.
And you can't prove it.
Okay, that's fine. My larger point is, when I'm talking to folks, they're angry at corporations, they're angry at billionaires, they're angry at an elite and executive class on both sides of the aisle, and they feel underpinned by these things because they can't afford what they want, especially when we get to younger folks that can't afford things, and I do think that is a problem. So I see a changing of the guard. I actually think one of the great things about the Republican Party is it is expanding. It is bringing in more African Americans. I actually think that's good for America. I do not think it's good to have one party that's got all the African Americans in it. I think that is a bad thing. I think it's good that we're able to have conversations without cussing out each other and calling each other names, right? Because what we're going to face is our real problems are going to be AI and robots and Neuralink, and we don't recognize it how fast this is coming. This is going to be a challenge in probably 2028. It's not going to be 2032. We're going to have a technical problem that we're all going to have to come together on and figure out before we have a before we have a major crash. I'll land right there.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that, you know, the whole race politics shit, that didn't really start until, what was it, maybe around 2012, you started seeing the momentum.
What do you believe started in 2020?
Well, we can look at, actually, I'll fast forward just a tiny bit.
You said you believe something started in 2012.
Sure. Sure, Trayvon Martin, and then, of course, there's Obama's smartass comments regarding it, kind of politicizing it himself. Then you had the Black Lives Matter with, what is his name? I forget the name of the guy shot near St. Louis. Then that's when you saw BLM. They're doing their like killing them, flying them like bacon, whatever their stupid chant was. And that's when you started seeing, you know, riots occurring. And I remember 2014, 2015 is when you started seeing riots in different cities all over the country in response to whatever shootings. Then I started seeing these racial narratives, and there's a lot of theories behind this. Like most people had, by like 2012, 2013, they had smartphones. People were getting their information in different ways, and they were, you know, prior to that. So people were kind of like getting radicalized. But yeah, I definitely. Nobody denies the fact that race started getting into politics a lot more in the 2010s. I mean, and the views on race actually took the shitter.
The blacks started voting en masse for Democrats really in the late 1960s with the civil rights movement with LBJ, but it's really JFK. Because you get Martin Luther King out of jail in the 1960s, that starts to flip the black vote, and then it's voting en masse. Now, I'll grant you, to move it forward, to talk about today, social media has had a profound impact upon the world, especially the United States, and how we are able to view certain topics and certain things, going back to George Floyd, and now going to this incident with Charlie Kirk that we were all able to see, and it wasn't. We were all able to see the shot instantly, without it being edited and cleansed by the media, and so it's had a profound effect on how we communicate. But I'm coming back to that because when I look at chats and I look at the generation that's coming, and by the generation coming, I'm talking about people that are 35 to 40 years old. They are much more interracial. They're much more integrated. Where we have a high number of homosexuals and LGBTQ, and Gen Z, it's up to 20%. 1 in 5, it's mainly women, but 1 in 5. 1 in 5 of those individuals in Gen Z are reporting to be LGBTQ. We have a record high interracial relationships of all types of relationships. So the world is actually coming together. It's just hard for a lot of the older people here to see.
Oh, I just wanted to correct one thing. So Trent, your timeline.
I gotta go watch football.
Yeah, your timeline is wrong. Black people started voting in large numbers for the Democratic Party in 1936, 1960. The shift began earlier. FDR first started voting for the party of the New Deal. That's when it began. It's not the 1960s. It started earlier. Like I said, 1936.
Yeah, he's actually right. It's just that during the 60s, with Barry Goldwater reshaping the Republican parties, when he started pulling votes away from the Democratic Party, so they had to flip it and really hit heavy on the civil rights movement to gain all black votes back and the Great Society Act.
Yeah, well, I really liked Charlie Kirk's funeral. I didn't go, or memorial service, I should say. But
why didn't you attend? Why didn't you attend?
I could just stream it, and it's like, fuck it, I don't want to go like there. So the person I know who went, she arrived there at like 4 a.m. and it was already like thousands of people. And it was just, it's something you'd have to wake up at like 2 a.m. to get ready to go.
Where was it held?
Wait around. It was here in Glendale, Arizona, at the stadium that the Arizona Cardinals play out of. Yep.
Well, at least you guys got a chance to lay somebody to rest, give them a good farewell, good homecoming celebration.
I thought Erica Kirk, what she said was just really beautiful.
What did she
I
say?
think that was the best part of it. She talked about the loving relationship she has with her husband and how he treated her and how the values that he wanted to share with others, and then she forgave the killer. She forgave her husband's killer, and she said that it's really more important to not to hate each other, but to answer with love. That the Gospels teach us to love one another. And anyway, I mean, I'm super paraphrasing, but it was just really beautiful and moving. And yeah, anyway, that's what I thought.
Did you attend?
No, I streamed it. I'm not in Arizona. I'm not gonna get a flight. And besides, I feel like watching it at home and streaming it and being able to pause and rewind is probably better than being there in person anyway.
Well, I didn't watch it. So. This is all I've heard about it.
Otis, what do you think of Candace Owens?
What do you mean?
I said, what do you think of her? I don't know what your opinion of Candace Owens is these days.
Oh, I don't think of her. I don't think of her. She's particularly interesting. I don't think that she's smart.
So you don't think she's relevant in the landscape of dialogue, essentially, right?
I can't say. I honestly can't say.
Okay.
Yeah. But I think that the work she's doing is hilarious. As is the work of the other people on their side with megaphones.
But when you say nefarious, which part of Candace Owens' language or discussions have been nefarious, as you put it? What do you say?
I would say most of it. I think that anybody
Hey, can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Go ahead. What's up?
You couldn't hear me a minute ago, right? Because I was talking for a minute.
No, I could not hear you a minute ago.
Okay. And respectful, just to the room title. The only thing I ever heard Charlie Kirk say that to me was just inherently wrong was that if his daughter was raped and got pregnant, that he would force her to have the baby regardless of her opinion or view because it fit in his worldview. That was the only thing that he ever said to me that was inherently wrong. And that's what full context.
You again because you did this earlier.
Wait. That's what. No, I just came here for the first time. So I just came in here for the first time, so I couldn't have done anything earlier.
Well, hold on one second, Dan.
And you're very wrong. Just came here for the first
No,
time.
I'm right.
No, you're very wrong.
Well, I would say this. So I'd hear that argument, but the thing is, though, is you have to look at it. See, the left and the right both look at it as protecting life and protecting the autonomy of a being. Now, the right, they're going to look at the kid that is actual murder. You're killing a baby. It's not just because it's not solely religious.
No, it's religious.
Now they're going to look at this at a baby as being this autonomous. Well, not completely autonomous because it hasn't been born yet, but this living thing that is a gift from God. That's kind of going to be the religious part. And they look at abortions as wrong. And what they want to do is they want to save the voiceless child that has not yet been born. Now, with that being said, it's them. They're doing it from a moral lens. You cannot necessarily say they're wrong. Now, when it comes to
Ideological.
Sure, yes, ideological lens, but then I can use yes. No, it's not.
Yes, it is. Because
and so what I was gonna say, hold on. What I was gonna say is that I can do the same. You have an ideological lens where you should protect the health and the freedom of the mother, whether or not she wants to allow a pregnancy to come to term. Now, once again, that's the woman valuing the woman's life over the baby's. But some people are going to do it with the babies over the, some not even over the woman's. They just don't want to have women to have the option to hurt the baby. Now you can get into the. Now, first of all, it is subjective. Okay, you can't say for a matter of fact it. For example, allowing abortion is the morally good thing to do. That's not a stance that's even possible to have. That is literally a subjective opinion.
Yeah.
So then what did he say? Then what did he say? How is what he said actually immoral? It's not inherently immoral because you can't inherently imply morality to it.
Wait. First of all, you cut me off when I was talking. First of all. Second of all, I never said inherently immoral. I said
he's allowed to.
I said it was inherently wrong in my worldview. I specifically said it that way. Let me equate something to you real quick. Just because I wasn't done when you hopped in, I hear what you're saying. That's simple, bro. There's no thought behind that. Of course, duh. That's the way that he thinks, and that's his morality. This is religion. Of course, that's cookie cutter responses, bro. What else would he have said? But I would say this to you, and I know people are gonna argue because they don't get the equation, but it's simple. In the satanic home, if those satanic parents raise their children sacrificing animals, it could be argued that you can't argue against that because that fits into their worldview. Now, I know you don't like that shit. Okay, cool, whatever. What I'm saying is his whole view had to do with his worldview, his ideas, his ideals. It is wrong to kill that baby because my book says so and so. I'm not arguing it. What I'm saying is, to me, that was what was inherently wrong that came out of that man's mouth.
Okay, so I got what you said.
Wait, can I share something? So I'm pro-life and a woman, and the thing is with that, first of all, the likelihood of that ever happening is like,
reality.
You'd have to win the lottery like 10 times over. So they were trying to get him in a gotcha moment, like, oh, well, don't you think?
Well, to be fair, you should address it, though. To be fair, you should address it because the hypothetical, even though it's fair.
Let her finish talking. I mean, it's simple. Let her finish talking.
So first of all, it's a gotcha question to try to be like, well, you don't really believe that in all cases, do you? And his rationale, it is based on religion. That is true. But it's also based on science because biology teaches us that all human life starts at the moment of conception. And he's just saying if it's a human and it's a human life, that it should be valued and it should be afforded rights as anyone else. And if somebody got pregnant, especially at a young age, that is traumatic, that is horrible. He'd never want that for his daughter. But if it happened, it wouldn't necessarily erase the trauma to surgically have the baby taken away.
Wait, okay, but what though? No, okay.
But it's not another.
I'm not hearing you, but what though?
Killing a life. Let me just finish this last little bit. Killing a
baby doesn't fix the rape.
Exactly. That's it. Okay, thank you.
I agree with that. Again, my problem was the way that he put it. It was his choice to make, and so regardless, that's what was being done. We all know that postpartum depression is a real thing.
It's for everybody. Majority of women have postpartum depression.
Yes, sir. We agree.
It's fucking stupid to say that, Charlie Kirk says, oh, hey, if my daughter was raped, I would force her to have the baby because he doesn't want his grandchild to be snuffed out from fucking life. Killing the baby's not going to fix the fact that she was fucking raped.
You're right.
But
the thing is that daughter, wait a minute.
Because she's going to have mental trauma? Wait, hold on. Killing the baby is going to fix her traumatic experience?
You're emotional.
No, not exactly. I mean,
you're emotional.
If you want to say that I'm emotional because I'm talking about murdering babies, then yes.
You're getting emotional.
Okay, hold on.
The thing is, the argument goes both ways.
I get emotional about rapists and pedophiles too.
Okay, I know what you're about to say. It goes both ways. Now, what I want you to answer. I want you to answer the question. How
about this?
Are you emotional?
Oh my God, Jesus Christ! Shut the fuck up, everybody. So this is a very simple question. I'll ask for you. Okay, what morally should you value? Hold on. Okay.
To be intellectual.
Okay, but you guys literally won't shut the fuck up. Now, God damn. Now, when it comes to, okay, tell me this: is it morally right or wrong to care for the? Oh, this is fucking stupid. This is why people are racist. You get fucking dumbasses like him. Holy shit!
The whole argument is that he's even engaging in this conversation, which means that he has some type of feeling about it. Like he's calling me emotional because somebody's stuffing out a fucking baby. It's like, oh, how dare you get emotional about somebody wanting to kill babies? But you're engaging in this conversation because you hold feelings on this argument that you think that it's okay to fucking snuff babies out of fucking existence.
And you know what else is that the whole abortion industry, at least a big part of it, with Margaret Sanger, it started off as a racist movement. It was a eugenics movement trying to weed out black babies and kill off black babies specifically.
We don't want it to be heard that we tend to exterminate the Negro population.
Yeah, exactly. And so, I mean, just the fact that, especially if black people are like against abortion, it's just funny to me because the whole reason it started was to kill off black people specifically, and at least Planned Parenthood anyway. I don't know about all of them, but Planned Parenthood and Margaret Sanger, that was definitely the case.
Hey, but so abortion is wait.
Let's get a new voice.
Oh, shut up. Let Joe talk.
You're a whole ass bitch.
You can shut your fucking monkey mouth if you want to go back and sit in the monkey cage. Bitch, shut the fuck up.
You a pussy, what? And you got a wrong back in the ass, what?
I'm on the hate with you. Y'all all yelling at each other or showing your emotional maturity.
Y'all
just not with the hate.
Yeah, we don't want babies to be burnt out.
Can't even have a rational
Let Joe go.
Every room I walk in,
Joe,
y'all just
always quick.
Let the clean lady talk.
I look, appreciate the mic. Y'all talking my favorite subject right here is, exposing the murder of children. So if we kill 1 million babies a year here in America, and if all 1 million were being killed because the mother was being raped, well, we'd have a rape problem, and we would stop raping. Well, we'd stop people from raping. That would be the issue. The problem we have in America is that we have a baby killing problem, and we need to stop killing babies. So I'm just going to point that out right there. So to raise the obscure point about, well, what happens if, someone has to carry a person, a child that has come from rape. Like Susanna said, it's so obscure.
Well, Joe,
we kill a million babies.
Let him finish.
I know, I'm adding on to what you're saying, Joe. If you murder the baby,
it's fine. I like to hear from you. I was just going to end it with the largest threat of human, life is abortion, and it's genocide that's occurring. So we need to bring an end to it.
Well, I do think that
this is why I jumped in, Pepe. Because as soon as he finishes,
I'm not the one who kicked you. I'm not the one who.
No. But you're telling me to shut up. This is the reason I jump in, because nobody lets anybody in. Exactly. So Paul was saying to Joe is, murdering the baby doesn't undo the fucking rape. It doesn't undo the trauma that was, forced upon that young girl. Killing the baby isn't going to make the young girl wake up the next morning and go, you know what? I wasn't raped. I forgot all about it.
Well, I do think that everybody likes to talk about the black genocide that's occurred from abortion, but all I can think of is that, these are largely poor black women that would probably make very shit poor mothers. And so that's like 50 million, blacks that, that are largely going to be criminal and violent that, didn't have to really deal with them because they were aborted. I think that's actually a good thing. So I'm actually pro-abortion.
Oh my God! Did you hear guys? Did you hear Dawn Harris? Real quick, did you guys hear Dawn Harris in the fucking chat? What's Dawn? Hold on, no way. So Dawn Harris in the real quick, no way. Dawn Harris in the chat said that abortion is not nearly as bad as gun deaths in America.
You look like Barbara Bush.
1 million
Whoa,
babies
whoa, whoa,
a year
whoa, 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 whoa.
compared to 50,000 deaths from guns. Half of those are suicide. And the rest of them are majority inner city, black on black crime.
I just want to know what do poor white motherfuckers turn into? Do they turn into great ass people that run the world?
No,
You live your life through grace, brother.
I was gonna say to Pepe, you know that theory about yours with the bad mothers and all of that. You semi have a point, but I would say you don't have a point because if they valued life enough not to kill it, then they probably wouldn't be the bad mothers that it turns out to be. And I really think it's just about those family values, like Charlie Kirk was talking about, having family values, valuing life, then or also there's thousands of people to adopt. So that's also an option. But
well, I'm further on the right, and I do believe.
Are these school shooters? Are these motherfuckers born from
majority school shooters?
Shut up and let me. God damn!
Shut up, small dick bitch.
Go ahead.
Once again, are these school shooters born from trailer trash?
93%.
Most of the time, I think they come from a variety of backgrounds. Some of them come from upper middle class neighborhoods.
It's the variety, huh? That's work.
But you know what's but I would say the big difference is that these poor, these white school shooters, they make the news because what they do is pretty horrible and disgusting. However, they're actually anomalous. If you think about it, out of the millions of children, you hear of a couple of these, I don't know, the frequency.
We may hear about it.
And so this is rare. But you know what's rare? Turning on the news Monday morning, we've had 80 shootings in Chicago this weekend. Who were the victims and who were the suspects? Blacks. That's just a statistical fact. In fact, more than half the homicides in the United States are committed by blacks. So, I don't know. It seems like blacks have a problem.
50.
Okay, that's cool. Most of the homicides, most of the crime is considered committed by crackers. So that I get the arguments. It's cool when you throw people in the ghetto, you take away resources and also systematic racism. But y'all don't think that's true. So I can understand, how poor people killing each other. Now you so-called civilized motherfuckers, like the motherfucker that knocked off Charlie K. We no longer gotta say you got JFK. We can upgrade it now to you got.
What about the guy who shot Charlie Kirk?
I'm saying we no longer.
Amazing.
JFK. You got
amazing. Amazing.
So why are white?
All right. Okay, you're being a hood rat. Yeah, you're being a hood rat. Okay, do I need to start? Okay, monkey, shut your fucking mouth. Shut your fucking mouth.
Why are you?
Okay.
Come on, Pepe. Don't use a stupid slur.
I have to.
Argument. You're degrading your argument.
Okay, well, hold on a second. No. I'm not Charlie Kirk. I'm not going to tell you to go. Hold on. All right, now I got to mute you fucking monkeys. You fucking apes. Can't control yourselves. You fucking monkeys. I have to mute all. Mute all. Wow, he's coming through the mute all. Wow, bad ape. Holy shit. No banana for you, buddy. Now, please. See, he can't help himself. Now, if we look at the shooter, Charlie Kirk, he's an upper middle class background in southern Utah, around an all Mormon family. They don't do drugs in Utah. They don't believe in drinking. You get looked down upon even for doing coffee. Yes. And so, see, these people. Okay, you dumb. Okay, you gotta go. See, and I see you have an ape in your PTR. So it figures. Now you gotta go to the audience. Holy shit, that was so rude.
They can't control themselves.
Can we just
out of the cage and they all started
Can we just all get what happens when you don't live your life through grace and you would rather live it through race? Who else watched the 10-hour revival today?
I watched all of it.
I'll tell you what, man. I'll just a sidebar here, but dude, I grew up in the church. We're a strong Christian man. I'm going to church enough, once every 2 months, right? But man, I didn't go this Sunday because I wanted to watch it. But man, it's like, okay,
with the church to help the people, regardless of color, official color? What can I do with the church for the people that will also preach and teach Christian values and conservative values? It's like, man, I don't want to be the guy looking at the top of the mountain, saying, bottom of the mountain, saying, hey, man, you're going in the wrong direction. I mean, man, that was a fucking moving day. And I don't care if you're a Democrat or Republican. I don't give you watch the 10 hours of that and say, well, the Republican Party, how about no? Then you're not being serious.
I just want to say,
Well, I mean, this should, and that should show you. You know, you had tens of thousands of these people, these Republicans in one place, and it was all kumbaya. Everybody's behaving. It was, you know, everybody. It was so peaceful, and like, you know, this is what I want to tell, you know, these lefties, these spiteful mutants that are just mad and angry at the world, and maybe they don't believe in God because they were born ugly, and I probably hate God too, and you know, they're unhinged with mental illness. I understand your plight, not really. I can pretend to. Now, you all know that if you went into that place, being the most radical, you could be a tranny, let's just like, and definitely not pass. You know, nobody's going to put a finger on you. Nobody's going to be mean to you. See, that is the difference between the left and the right. We are not the same. Occasionally, you bait the right into reacting, and they do, because the right tends to be far more orderly. They're so much more predictable than the left. Because the left, you're just like, oh shit, oh god damn it, this is in the news. Oh, see if they fucking chimp out. They can't control themselves. They're angry, spiteful people.
How much do you think? Serious question. After what I saw today and what I've seen over the past couple of weeks, obviously all of this is going to die down over the coming weeks, the coming months. But man, don't you think that the Democrat Party has a huge freaking problem on their hands?
Midterms. I do think so.
I think it's such a monumental. It's like climbing Mount Everest. How can you overcome a Supreme Court justice that cannot tell me what a female is? You can't.
That's a DEI hire gone wrong. And I would say this. You saw you've seen the hate. Like, look, if some lefty, you know, like, I don't know, Ezra Klein or something like that, you know, he was just shot, well, in the same fashion, shot in the neck, and he just died, and his family was there, and there's thousands of people watching, and a bunch of liberal students were watching. I would feel really sad. In fact, and if any right-winger made fun of the fact that he got shot like that, I would totally talk trash to them, because I think they're a piece of shit. Now, what you did see is all people on the left showed their ass. They showed how hateful and spiteful they are. And then what you see with like Charlie Kirk and you know, all of his followers, you see this nice, beautiful memorial service, and everybody's, you know, it was mainly optimistic. It was obviously mournful, but it was, they looked like really nice, wholesome people. And that's what you're missing on the left. But you know who was talking on the left today? We had Jasmine Crockett. That dumb bitch was on CNN saying, yeah, she is a dumb bitch. And she was basically saying how, I really feel mad. I'd be disrespecting and shit. You know, there was only two white people, members of Congress, that ended up voting against the Charlie Kirk remembrance. Like, well, only two white people? It's like, holy shit, you nasty, smug bitch. This, like, race politics is still a thing. And yeah, you're going to get pushback from the right. Why wouldn't you? You just inject everything.
Matt, just I'm sorry, Matt, if I promise that he'll behave himself, can John have the take if he actually speaks and not tries?
Maybe, but let Matt.
Okay, so I would just say the outlet here. I just wonder how much more, like, with the left, like, today was a good day. I don't give you can't, no one can convince me otherwise. You're full of it if you tell me that today's 10-hour fight was just racist slurs. And so when the left, which is the mainstream one, legacy media, they're already starting more cowbell. Do you think they're ever going to come off the cowbell? Or is it just going to be more cowbell until they don't exist?
All right. Jonathan, no trolling. Come on, Kitover.
Yeah, Matt, are you done
I
whispering?
some of the moderators, the right wingers, moderators. That's how I'm trying to, some solidarity.
First time being a mod.
Amazing. You don't use it.
You gotta behave yourself.
Yeah, everybody on this app and all these politically correct libtard rooms who have been calling Charlie Kirk a racist and that he got what he deserved, they've never presented any evidence. They have no receipts. They're just a bunch of screaming, insane, psychopathic, homicidal ideation losers who have no political power. They're just a bunch of crying, complaining little babies. And the gay African-American ones are generally the most toxic and sociopathic, psychopathic amongst us. You all know it. It's here on this app. You can hear how homicidally ideated many of these black African-American homosexuals are. They call white people the enemy. They talk about strategy on how to kill us. And I can say from a sociological, psychological, observational study, we are living with most likely 60 million highly brainwashed sociopaths that would have no problem killing you or cheering your death if you are a white, heterosexual, Christian, normative male like Charlie Kirk. And so we are in a major... Hold on, stop whispering. I can't hear you, Matt. I'm trying to tell you that this country has spent 25 years at war, then engaged in a COVID vaccine war against its own people with a pandemic, scamdemic, and now we have a final cultural war that we are going to...
That's it. Thank you.
He was doing amazing, bro.
I didn't kick him.
He was obvious. He didn't
It was just a little too much going on, a little too long there.
Well, then give him a chance to land his plane. Don't kick him off the
he was
stage.
behaving himself and everything.
Yeah, and also, John, thank you for your submission. I appreciate it because I think you're a total asshole, for the record, as a person, and all the conversations we've had on Clubhouse. But I think that your submission was awesome.
I mean, I think that Charlie Kirk was such a good guy. Thank you, David. I think that Charlie Kirk was that's what offended me is I'm somebody who has more extremist views than him in some ways. And I was like, oh my God, he's such a nice young, if you had a daughter. No, I said he doesn't have any. And so I was just saying, if you had a daughter and Charlie Kirk with his goofy smile was to show up, you'd be like, oh, he's going to be such a good guy. Yeah, of course. Have fun, buddy. If it was me picking up, your daughter when I was in my 20s, him, I would have a shotgun out. I'd be not happening. And I tell my daughter she's not leaving. So this is me looking at the genuinely good guy who I don't think he has a hateful bone in his body, but just how quickly people are not only making him out to be a monster, but then celebrating that violent, horrible murder that the whole world had to see and his family had to witness. It's just so disgusting of people.
Can we talk about the elephant in the room really quick?
So we move Kitover down, and we're going to let David be the drunk talker.
All right, yeah, don't tell me how to moderate the room.
No, I'm asking if... I want to ask an honest question. Can I ask an honest question?
Yeah, I wasn't talking to you. Go ahead.
Can we talk about the fact that Trump should have not made that horrific speech?
Amen. Praise Jesus.
He ruined everything about today. He tried to turn it into a political rally. Erica was trying to get hugs from him. He was completely shut down. All of that. It was disgusting.
Why did you even watch?
I totally agree, though.
It was horrific. It was so awkward.
He could not. That hug I was watching. I was like, man, he has. I think that's just the way Trump is. He doesn't. I'm not justifying it. What I'm saying is, you could just tell he has no emotional intelligence per se. He is.
Agreed.
With all due respect, I actually didn't watch.
That's fine that you didn't watch, but what we're talking about is what actually happened, and what actually happened is that Trump went on for an hour political speech, and tried to follow, like, and I literally said to my husband, Trump's following Erica. There's no fucking way he's going to be able to do this. Yeah. And he proved me right that he has no social, emotional skill to actually handle a situation like this. And it was a fucking disaster.
Let me ask you a question, though.
Guys,
Let me ask you a question. Hold on a second. I know who he is. God damn it, dude. Stop being an autist. Just get. I know you can't help your autism, but just stop your autism for at least while you're in my room.
It's being cured tomorrow, by the way. We're told today it's being cured tomorrow. Autism will be.
But when it comes to, and I'm not the one who moved you down. I will say this. I do wonder though, because here he is. He's at a public event. He is the president of the United States. Somebody else has to invite him up, because I already did twice. He is the president of the United States, and he is making a address. I get it. It was kind of, I didn't know how to feel about it, but it's like, as a president, is he supposed to kind of give a political speech? I don't know. He's not. I obviously didn't think. No. I didn't think he was going to give one.
Nobody else.
And if he did, I don't think he was going to be the great uniter. I think he's going to, humble brag and talk trash like he always does. But
I'm so glad you said that.
To be completely honest, it was a complete misstep of a beautiful day, honoring Charlie and what he did and what he stands for, and bringing people to the idea of being a man and getting married and having a family to progress the American idealisms. That was what the day was. And Trump came in and he literally tried to turn it. Oh my God, it was so horrific. And then whenever Erica tried to hug him, he kept on almost pushing her off. It was really awkward.
He didn't push her off.
Yeah, he didn't do that.
He didn't push her off. He didn't embrace her. Did he embrace her?
I agree with you in part. I feel like, I don't think it was as bad as all that. I think he did say a lot of good things about Charlie Kirk. And he said about him being an Eagle Scout and all this stuff. And a lot of it was about him. But two things I didn't like. One was him starting to talk about Maha and the announcement he has tomorrow and like all this stuff that has nothing to do with Charlie Kirk, but then he tried to tie Charlie Kirk in by like, oh, he would love it. And then the other thing I didn't think he should go last. Erica Kirk, hers was so beautiful and so well-spoken. And a third thing I didn't like, just one last thing. I didn't like how he's like, I hate my opponents. And I'm just kind of like, right after Erica's speech, when she literally was saying the answer is love.
But you don't think that was a good thing? Because he's being correct. At least he's being honest.
No. She came up and she forgave her husband's killer on live television.
That's because she's a beautiful Christian. But Trump's not.
That's okay.
Bro, the TPS in this room is wild.
It is wild. On both.
I'm a Trump supporter, and I think he missed an opportunity.
No, Trump made me laugh. I liked it. I think there were things I didn't like, and I don't think he should have gone last.
Well, I actually think that he should have gone last, and the reason being is he's obviously all eyes are going to be on him. But of course, the people I was looking forward to speaking were going to be Erica and Trump. Trump did disappoint with his delivery, but I would say Erica, she seems like a very, she seems like a good-hearted woman. I know very little about her.
Also, what the fuck are you guys talking about? I mean, Charlie Kirk literally fucking cried in the 24 election when Trump was called his presidency. If it wasn't for Trump, there would be no fucking turning point. If it was fucking, Romney running again, there would be no fucking political movement behind the whole.
You also have that completely reversed.
The greatest fucking fanboy of Trump.
But that's a fair.
There wouldn't be a Trump 47 if it weren't.
No, I agree. And that's why Trump had to go last, and that's why it was okay that if Trump wanted to talk for fucking 5 hours.
It was a really bad.
And Charlie Kirk, if he was alive, would have been standing in the fucking audience clapping to everything that
To
Trump
be
was
true,
saying, Jerry.
but I would say this though. Okay, you have he is a fucking windbag, all right, and like
Of course
he would have taken all of the steam out for the most emotional part, which in succession you had a bunch of people who at least either somewhat knew him to people who knew him well, and you kind of they all went through it. Then you have Trump doing his Trump shit. I think that would have been, just like that would have just thrown a wrench in everything if Trump went before.
Yeah, but he's not known to be a fucking emotional guy.
Obviously, that's why.
Real quick.
She should have gone before Erica.
Hey girls, women on the stage, have y'all ever been on a first date and it's like it didn't go very well and he comes and gives you a hug? Like that was
Trump. That was so Trump.
Bella,
the
what do you?
side hug. The side hug to the widow. That he's got it. He's got it
better than the creepy shit.
Yeah, I know exactly.
Yeah, he gave her a full on hug.
He hugged her and he hugged her.
Hold on.
So we got.
I do have a question. Can I just chime in? I want to know, why do we expect Trump to be anything more
Than what Trump
than
is.
himself?
Amen. I agree.
So the thing I was going to mention is that Charlie Kirk's wife, and Trump. I guarantee, had he said, "Hey, I'll go before you and you go last," she would have fucking said, "No, Mr. President, you go last."
That's right. She
110%.
She was the one that wrote how this funeral service.
Yeah, I was about to say this was obviously these people. First of all, and I do think that when it comes to the people that were putting all of this together, they have a lot more experience than we do. When it comes to planning these kinds of events where you have speakers, I'm sure this was incredibly deliberate. And I think
Charlie
as soon as Trump started speaking, I felt like he moved the somber, emotional feeling I was getting throughout the whole thing. It kind of just went, and so that's why I think it's good it ended on her.
All right,
No,
let me jump in here.
That's the problem.
Look, it's ridiculous to think that a sitting president would not be the keynote speaker at any event. Turning Point Action is a political event for Trump. It's not just for Trump.
Yeah, it is.
It's not.
Dude,
really.
shut up. It's a Republican, conservative one.
Yeah, it's not for Trump. Turning Point isn't for Trump, but this was a political event. This was all about galvanizing Christians. You got to understand that these people work in politics. So when Trump gives his explanation of when Charlie was shot, he ended his meeting in the Oval Office with some very powerful people. That was an insight, a little bit inside of how influential Charlie was in politics. Look, I think y'all are being a little too hard Trump. I thought he tied it in very well.
Isn't that our
Look,
right?
we've heard you, Bella. We've heard you. Let me finish. All right. I think Trump tied it in very well when he did raise political talking point, tying in Charlie and how influential Charlie was in their, being a person builder or people builder, as Trump said. He was responsible for mending the relationship between him and RFK Jr. He was the first one that told Trump about J.D. Vance. And I think exposing this at a political event was proper to.
Yeah, Joe, I agree with you. I think it ended with levity, and so that's good. I just didn't like everything he said, and I guess I would disagree with you somewhat because I think his funeral isn't a political event. It's a funeral for him.
Susanna, do you think Charlie would have wanted it to be?
We need this to be clear. This was not a funeral. There was a private funeral.
Yep.
It was not open to the public. This was a memorial. However, it is a political event. Okay, it's Turning Point's political event in remembrance of Charlie Kirk. And look,
it's a memorial.
If you're going to continue on with his message in politics, you're going to turn his memorial into a political message. And like it or not, it's all about galvanizing Christians.
And Charlie
right
would
now.
have loved it, Joe. That's the thing.
So I do see Abraham is on the stage. I'm guessing he's more than willing to point out something that Charlie Kirk said was wrong. Abraham, do you have something, being the black scholar that you are, anything that you can point out that he said that was wrong? Mr. Abraham. Guess not. All right.
Abracadabra. If I can adjust the title.
Yeah, I'm guessing that's why you came in here. Sure.
Yeah. So one of they says, can you point out anything Charlie Kirk said that was wrong? Absolutely. And for one, I'll point out when a young black child asked him a question and said that, hey, I heard you want to repeal the Civil Rights Act. He said, no, that's a lie. I never said that. And he pointed at the little boy and put his finger in his face and said, I said it was a mistake. And then he walked off, which I found to be incredulously disgusting and offensive and unnecessary. He could have expounded more to the young man, but he didn't.
Why is that offensive?
Stuck his finger in his face and walked off. And him being against the Civil Rights Act is disgusting, right?
Why is it disgusting?
But do you know
to be against something that made Black Americans full citizens of this country and remove the barriers that have for generations taken away our rights as citizens in order to be able to participate in the force of what it is to be an American citizen, to which the birthright that was guaranteed to us.
Okay, all that jazz. Okay, sure.
Absolutely. And
sure.
Using the woke right. Using the woke left as an excuse on why the civil rights movement was a mistake is amateur and quite disingenuous.
Sure, but I haven't made that argument yet. So, but what I'm curious about is that amazing. And so when you have the Civil Rights Act, do you remember why, like, for example, when the New Right was really starting to get into motion? See, I kind of more or less favored the old, the paleo conservatives that came before. God damn it, David, you're drunk and you're just fucking like, how can I shit on Pepe's stage? Like while he's fucking talking, like, Jesus Christ. Now,
poor you, buddy, poor you.
So I would just say, holy shit. So, okay, we'll start with the New Right Republicans, which they were not this. They didn't really have that kind of ideological lens. They were against the Civil Rights Act for a reason. Do you know what it was?
By what they at the time, I forgot his name. He ran for president during the
Barry Goldwater.
What was Goldwater Republicans? Their argument was that it violated states' rights.
No, there's another one. That's not why they were against.
Conservatives have made for the last 60 years.
No, these are the New Right. No, this was the New Right. See, he was a lot different from
the last 60 years. It's been because the civil rights movement violated states' rights.
No. It was because what they first saw is that with the Civil Rights Act, you were going to start seeing things like quotas, and they were staunchly against it, understandably so. And so, what you did get was affirmative action, and you did in a way get quotas, which basically you're going to have people like what the fuck is his name? Jesse Jackson and his Rainbow Coalition, and they're going to say, you ain't got to have enough brothers working in your company, so you need to write out this check, $200,000. We're going to go ahead and give you your employees the best training program available so you have more black folks. And, that's basically basically people had to try to, quote unquote, fill a quota system for a lot of people. So he was right.
Charlie Kirk's argument. And a quota system, once again, is disingenuous because the Supreme Court ruled that quota systems were unconstitutional. And they were outlawed in more than 33 states.
That's true.
That is very true. It was actually rendered unconstitutional by the Supreme Court in 1990, sir. The Supreme Court ruled it unconstitutional.
You're wrong. You're wrong on that.
No, I'm not wrong. It's a fact.
You are wrong.
They rendered quota systems unconstitutional.
Abraham, so I didn't see the one where he points at a kid and says it's a mistake, but I saw at least two others, maybe three, where he talked about the civil rights thing. And his argument about it was he said that the intent was good, that he agreed with it wholeheartedly. That he agreed with it wholeheartedly, but the reason why he had an issue with it is super broad, and it did things like, for instance, today people are declaring the Civil Rights Act and saying, you need to ask for, we shouldn't have voter ID because the Civil Rights Act, and that's prejudice if you ask for voter ID. I don't think it's prejudice to expect someone to have voter ID just because of the color of their skin or not the color of their skin. Everybody should have voter ID. I don't think that's a big deal.
This is the disingenuousness of conservatives, the disingenuousness of conservatives when they make that argument. So Title II of the Civil Rights Act to make sure that states didn't put on undue process on people as a means of discrimination. So what conservatives have done in conservative states is they'll say things like, we're requiring ID, but what they do is in predominantly black counties where there's one DMV. So you don't even know what I'm saying. You just automatically saying.
Somebody bring Abby up. All right, hold on a second. So I did. Where'd she? Oh, there she is. Serendipity. You said you wanted to play a clip. Is it like related to this?
Yes.
Yeah, you can play it. That means everybody has to shut the fuck up. Go ahead, Serendipity.
All right.
Had to say about the Civil Rights Act. If you had the opportunity, you would get rid of the Civil Rights Act? No, I think you should have a one-page bill that says that racial discrimination based on race is illegal and will not be tolerated in the United States of America. Most black Americans don't support men in female sports. Would you agree? Yeah, I know. No, for sure, right? Believe it or not, the Civil Rights Act is now being used to keep men playing in women's sports. So the Civil Rights Act was used to help black America originally. Totally get that. But now the way it was written is that any claim of identification, someone says, I'm a woman, therefore I can compete in your volleyball team, they come with a civil rights claim. And so what we're saying is, no, it should be specified to racial, not gender, all that other stuff. And there were all these other provisions as well. Now do you get it?
That makes sense to me.
And in the cookie jar, bro, reigned racial discrimination was in our system. It took Title II and other parts of the Civil Rights Act, just those things. So it just couldn't have been one statute, one simplistic language and statute.
No, Mr. Black Scholar, no. See, this is bullshit. Okay, what has been used, and so this is kind of why the Supreme Court, and this is what I love about the Supreme Court, is that they had to, of course, under the threat of perjury, they have to, or the penalty of perjury, they have to make sure that they provide all of their facts. And we did see that there was, in fact, racial discrimination that was actually occurring. So Barry Gold, even though I didn't entirely agree with them, he was 100% correct. What you saw were, especially at the expense of Asian students, you were African Americans were given slots at Harvard, and whites also were being affected by it. But this was to benefit blacks. So there was absolutely racial discrimination that was occurring. I don't see how you can. The facts were buried out in the Supreme Court. You can't really deny that.
I don't know what you mean. I'm talking about what Charlie Kirk just said. Charlie Kirk said there should have been simplistic language. You don't discriminate, and I'm saying that the racial discrimination in the United States of America was ingrained and.
But how would it be ingrained? If he said there's no? But if the law said you can't have racial discrimination, it should be very clear and
because there were things there were state statutes, local and city statutes.
Yeah, but that would end up those things. Yeah, but that would end up basically saying.
No, it wouldn't.
Yes, it would. Yes, it would. Because if it was racially discriminatory, the law would strike it down.
No,
so you're wrong.
The law doesn't work that way. Federal simplistic language does not address state statutes, city statutes, or local statutes. And so if the law is that vague, then people aren't going to follow it.
So, but I'm just curious though. So, if they don't follow simple language in federal law, they're somehow going to follow laws that are I guess very detailed. But why would it matter if it's federal law?
Are going to argue that those federal statutes don't apply to them.
Okay, tell me how. No, hold on a second. No, that's not how it works. Hold on a second.
That is excellent.
No.
Understand how?
No. Okay, Mr. Black Scholar. Mr. Black Scholar. Here's the problem: is that if the language is very simple, okay, you cannot discriminate based on like whatever protective class. Now, if you were to show that you were discriminating against somebody, you're violating law. Like, what more details do you need?
According to your logic, how many amendments to the Constitution are there?
There are many. I don't have the exact number off the top of my head. I'm just being honest. I didn't go to law school or anything.
Simple. According to your logic, if the law is that simple, then why can't just one amended, not even amended, why one simple a statement in the Constitution is enough? That should be enough.
Well, okay, but that's stupid. That's stupid logic. That's dumb logic.
That's not how it works.
That is dumb logic because the Constitution. Okay, no, bad scholar. Okay,
answer my question.
I can answer.
But you're wrong.
Okay, it's really quick. I'll let somebody else. Seizures, a right to own firearms.
Not race.
Right, amazing. All right, shut the fuck up, Scholar. I understand you're a hood scholar, and so you got the facts and receipts.
Not race, the law.
Okay, hold on.
Wait, Abraham, you're saying, right, like that there needs to be more amendments and so on and so forth. In a way, to me, listening to you, it sounds like you're in agreement with Charlie Kirk, because Charlie Kirk's criticism of it is that it was too broad and people were using it for all kinds of things. And he was saying that the intent was great.
There should have been one description in law passed by Congress, and that says there should be racial discrimination.
No, that's not how the law works.
He didn't say there should have been any adjustments.
That means you're a bad lawyer.
He said it should have been.
Okay, guys. We need to do a test. Okay, because David has a lot to say. He's got it wrong. So we're going to see. Okay, give your best, answer that you can. Try to sound as sober as you can. Just go ahead and please tell him why he's wrong.
Everyone, for the record, everyone's fine. Let's all be nice. There's some person, I'm not going to name names, but there's somebody in this room who is trying to be somebody who understands law.
Amazing.
But they're wrong.
Yeah, but I'm asking you to prove that person wrong, why they're wrong. Not
okay,
to say they're wrong because they're wrong.
If said person wants to talk to me about why they're wrong.
But you were trying to talk to them on a public stage, so didn't do that.
Yeah, you should shut the fuck up.
Okay. Whoa, first of all, don't say the F word. If said person wants to talk to about law, I'm willing to debate that. But as of right now, when he's yelling at
how many amendments are there, David?
When that person,
David, how many amendments are there?
1 second. When that person is yelling at.
When I told David to shut up, all the smiley faces looked like a constellation of stars.
Okay, Abby said there was 27 in the chat, so I just said 7. I don't even know what the 27th Amendment is. I just don't know. I didn't have to go to law school or take a bar exam. I don't know.
Okay, if there's somebody who wants to...
David, but you're trying to jump in to say a lot. But let's go back to the conversation.
I'm willing to defend Pepe. Obviously, if it's anybody who has like a law degree who's willing to debate me,
there's people in here that have law degrees.
Yeah.
But
it's fine. So then our friends close and our Jewish attorneys closer.
My point to you, sir, is
for the record, I'm not Jewish.
We're going to use Charlie Kirk's logic
that all you need is one simple language, and that language says that it's against the law to discriminate against people of any race. And that's all the language that is needed to simplify, to rectify, hold on a second, to rectify the racial discrimination against black people and black people not being.
But you're saying rectify. So hold on a second. Okay, David.
Counselor. I'm only David, what Charlie Kirk said.
Okay, but I actually agree with Charlie Kirk's argument to an extent. See, when it comes, if racial discrimination is wrong, it means you can't. If you're an employer, if you're a school, if you're like wherever, you cannot racially discriminate, and so that's pretty clear, cut and dry. Now, can you tell me? No. What it is about? Okay, hold on.
This was about status. This was the point of the Civil Rights 1965 Act. It was about bringing Black Americans into proper status, right? Because Black Americans were not in proper status. They were considered full citizens.
Okay.
It's legal
David, please stop.
It was legal to discriminate against us based off of our race. Don't say us. Us is not an appropriate. Like as an attorney,
like the way when you say. Okay, between the two of you, like holy shit.
This dude talks every time.
Counselor, you're wrong. You're wrong.
The way you said that, I'm saying the way you said that, it was wrong. Effective arguments.
No, hold on. I think there's an effective argument not discriminate. Now, what you want to see is your strong black.
You racially discriminated.
Discrimination.
Ziggy, stop being a faggot. Ziggy, stop being a lefty faggot. I'm not hiring or firing or enrolling people in school. Okay, so you can pray for me all you want. I don't have hate. Now, here's the thing. Amazing. Shut your faggot mouth, please. Now, holy shit. Now, I think that you want your black strong brothers and sisters to have, the best leg up by any means necessary. And I know you're pro reparations.
Stop, Pepe. You're trolling.
I'm not trolling. I'm actually being dead serious. Like you guys want the best for your people. You want to see black people elevated and even reach the top, which I'm not going to say is like necessarily something that I think all groups kind of want that. So I'm not going to knock you for it. But I don't see this about justice. I don't see this as justice. I see this as you wanting a leg up and a fucking handout. And that's why you're trying to justify this bullshit. And I actually think that's why the black community, in a way, I do think that the most ethno-narcissistic racial group in the United States is clearly African Americans. Yeah, and because of our history, we've allowed you guys to just go on and on and on and bitch and bitch and bitch and bitch and make excuses for everything. Whereas there's no other ethnic group that's really, Native Americans were treated pretty badly and they still kind of do it, but they're not like you guys. And it's just I think it's almost like that's why you guys didn't grow up. Just have all of these fucking problems.
So, Pepe, what you don't understand is I leg up over any other American. I want what the Constitution promised every other American.
It didn't promise affirmative action. Yeah, but it didn't promise affirmative action in the fucking Constitution.
The affirmative action was rendered non-constitutional. Quotas were rendered non-constitutional by the Supreme Court. Again, I want as much as the government guarantees. So when you talk about 1964 Civil Rights Act being a mistake, you cannot be disingenuous by bringing up things like quotas when you know that was rendered unconstitutional.
No, we literally had quotas. We had affirmative action.
You can't say things like, simple language like.
Are you saying that you disagree with the Supreme Court being the supreme law of the land?
No, we've had decades. No, bullshit.
Considering that in the law.
Okay, bullshit. We literally had fucking decades. We literally had decades of affirmative action where unqualified people were taking the slots, of qualified people that were white or Asian. This literally was a thing that's been proven. We all know it. And then what's funny is that you racial justice warriors have the audacity to say, well, how racist is Charlie Kirk to wonder if there's a black surgeon or a black pilot, if he's qualified. Yeah, nobody would have that fucking question if there wasn't a such thing as affirmative action. If the same requirements were held standard across every race, you wouldn't have those questions. But because we know there clearly is not, okay, I'm generally going to be a little bit more comfortable with some European last name doctor, a Jewish last name doctor, an Asian last name doctor. Why? Because I know they had to jump through the hurdles. Whereas Mr. Jefferson, who became a surgeon, I don't know. I can't trust that he's actually as competent as his credentials say he should be.
It's a really good point, that
rant you're having. The facts,
but it's inaccurate, man.
Was rendered unconstitutional.
Affirmative action took place, and it has taken place for decades.
60 years, what the last 60 years conservatives have been arguing is nothing to do with quotas. What conservatives have been arguing is for the past 60 years is that the Civil Rights Act violated states' rights. Now, Charlie Kirk...
That wasn't the argument, you stupid fuck. That was not the goddamn argument.
Argue quotas, right? Charlie Kirk...
Where did Charlie Kirk say that the Civil Rights Act violated states' rights? He never made that fucking argument. And I'm not even talking about Charlie Kirk's arguments. Charlie Kirk was actually a fucking gentleman. He would say some of the deleterious effects that ended up happening as a result of the 1964 Civil Rights Act, where all of a sudden you had overwhelming majority of people. I'm not muting you, by the way. You had the overwhelming majority of people, the black people. They were married, they had intact families. The crime problem was not nearly as bad as it ended up being within one fucking generation. Okay, in the 80s and 90s. Okay, it was absolutely fun. It did have some bad effects on the fucking black family. Like, you can't fucking deny that.
I just want to applaud that.
The fact that the Civil Rights Act was being expanded to other groups. That's what came out of his mouth. So he liked the fact that the LGBTQ community, as well as the trans community, asked for the Civil Rights Act of 1964, as well as the 14th Amendment, to be expanded to them. He had a problem with that. I've heard him say it a million times. And all I'm saying to you is Charlie Kirk said that is wrong. His surmise is disingenuous and it's rooted in white supremacy. This is the argument that the right has been making for the last 60 years, is that the Civil Rights Act should have never happened because it violates states' rights and it extended rights to other groups that they find irreprehensible, that they don't like, that they find morally objective.
Well, we have a lawyer in the audience, and she did, kind of just shit on your whole thing about affirmative action not being a thing. Well, I invited her up earlier. She can come up if she wants.
I invited her too, and the messages she said that she's on the phone, and that's why she can't talk right now. But hopefully, you'll be off the phone soon.
So, Abraham, do you think him not wanting the 14th Amendment in the Civil Rights Act to be expanded to trans people? Do you think that's indicative of white supremacy?
Yeah.
Or do you disagree with it? That's a better question. Do you agree with it?
Behind it, I wouldn't have an issue with that, but to say that it was a mistake and it shouldn't have never happened, yes, I think that's indicative of white supremacy. And not only that,
how is it indicative of white supremacy when it's about gender?
Human being, that Dr. King was a terrible person.
He is actual. That is a fact. He was an actual piece of fucking shit. He was actually a lot more radical than he let on. And he is somebody that would. The FBI files have been released on him. He did a lot of. Yeah, he was a gross person. And I would say, I'll compare him to a white guy. Hold on. Wow. I'll compare him to a white guy like Bill Clinton, who's, by the way, has been accused of rape several times. And who it's my understanding, was getting head from Monica Lewinsky, a Jew, while talking on the phone with Yasser Arafat. I mean, amazing. You can't make this shit up. And so I like, yeah, he was a philandering, womanizer, very bad person. He was definitely no. Dr. King I would say he did not have the behavior of a good pastor. He definitely did not. He's not the same people made him out to be.
I was going to say Zacharias.
Part of it too was dipping into socialism, and that's the stuff Charlie Kirk was talking about too. So
yeah, he was a socialist.
Yeah, he has reasons behind his criticisms of Martin Luther King Jr. It's not just because he was a black leader who helped black people. That wasn't why he disliked Martin Luther King Jr.
Abraham, you're asking me.
I was going to say,
let's go.
Real quick, Abraham, if you ever watched the movie Malcolm X, like even Spike Lee knew that's what that was. The FBI was tapping into Malcolm X's hotel room and was talking to his wife. In that little clip, that little segment of the movie, the FBI agent said, damn, this, what do you say, Dr. King or Martin Luther King makes this guy look, this guy makes, King makes this guy look like a saint. So everybody knew what the fuck MLK was up to. He was not really a moral guy behind the scenes. Second thing,
what evidence?
What's that?
You have zero evidence. What evidence?
What I'm saying is that's why they put that little small excerpt in that movie. That was a little jab.
What evidence do you have?
Abraham, we're actually intellectually honest because we consider the same thing about zombies.
There is no evidence that Dr. King was philandering. There's no evidence that you can provide other than anecdotal that he committed any crime.
He was observed, literally. He was observed with a bunch of dead. Shit, he was observed with a bunch of dead. No, you were. Okay, I understand that you're ride or die for your people, but he was observed. He was observed with a bunch of these women like getting freaky in front of these men, and then he ended up taking one of the sex toys and inserting it in her and showing her how to do it. Like, I'm sorry, but this is not a man of the Lord. I mean, no offense. Jesus would not be like, he wouldn't say, hold on. He wouldn't be like, let me show you how to handle thou dildo. Here, my sister. Like, that would not happen. Like, this guy is a creep.
We're going to go by this moral standard. And Dr. King, because let's just say for a moment he was getting ahead of white women, right? If we're going to go by that, then let's look at the founding fathers, right? Let's look at their moral standards.
Yeah, we're okay with saying that they were doing that shit too. Yeah,
No, because that's a lie. Because one thing about the right is when you talk about the evilness of the founding fathers, they start to virtual signal and talk about what great men they were, and how they were divinely chosen by God, and how God had ordained them and had anointed them. When we talk about Jefferson and the fact that Jefferson was raping,
Mr. Jefferson, you can't say rape. That wasn't a fair. You can't say that.
Forcing a girl into sex, to which he fathered 5 children with.
Okay, Sally Hemmings, amazing. Go ahead.
Yeah, so let me finish. Abraham, please, let me finish.
What is the moral standard behind?
Abraham, let this black man speak.
That's indoctrination.
It's crazy. So, Abraham, the difference is we can separate the two. We can say in this department, yeah, he was a piece of shit, but then he also did good things. With Martin Luther King, Abraham, can I finish? Can I just finish, bro?
Matt deeper on it, bro.
So, Abraham, the difference is when it comes to MLK and his bullshit, you guys want to totally deny it. It's okay to say, hey, in this arena, MLK was a great guy, but then in this arena, he was a piece of shit. But my second point I wanted to make was that I had a room the day before yesterday, and I played a clip. Malcolm X was on record for being against the civil rights movement. He wasn't in approval of it. He said, quote, that the Constitution was enough. You don't need a civil rights movement. It's fucking overkill, and it's not going to change shit. So
he was a.
What's that? Go ahead.
So listen, he didn't believe that the Civil Rights Act was going to work. That's why he didn't support it. And again, you have